Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Women's Advanced Bible Study Night, the 20th of July, 2023. We'll be dealing with the book of Ruth. We'll read through that and break it down. So with that being said, you can go to our channel, which is Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. There's a lot of information given. And the videos that are there has a lot of information. And they will connect dots for you and lead you into the truth of the Holy Scripture. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And those that want to support the channel, you can check out Cash App out in the bottom of the screen. And I want to thank those that do support the channel. It's appreciated. Okay. So this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah, which is the first 5 books, which are the books of the law that was given to Moses. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening. And like I said, welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study Night. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, and then we do Psalms, our Women's Health moment. We do a little current events, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A questions, and a little need to know information. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord host and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before Thee at this hour, bow down with great respect for our Redeemer. And Lord, you confess through your prophet Isaiah that you would return unto us and that you would pour out your spirit upon us. Great in counsel, mighty in works, for thine eyes are open upon the ways of men, to give everyone according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. O Lord, behold, thou hast made the heavens and the earth by thy great power, and thou stretched out arm, and there is nothing too hard for thee. And knowing all these things, O Lord, we eagerly await thy coming, the day in which thou wilt break the yoke of our oppressors. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to read the Psalms, and we're going to our Women's Health. Go ahead.
Excuse me, Brother Leonard. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Shalom. I'll be reading Psalms 97. Psalms 97. The Lord reigneth. Let the earth rejoice. Let the multitudes of isles be glad thereof. Clouds and darkness are round about him. Righteousness and judgment are the habitation of his throne. Verse 3. A fire goeth before him, and burneth up his enemies round about. 4. His lightnings enlightened the world. The earth saw and trembled. Verse 5. The hills melted like wax at the presence of the Lord, at the presence of the Lord of the whole earth. Verse 6. The heavens declared his righteousness, and all the peoples see his glory. Verse 7. Confounded be all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves of idols. Worship him, all ye gods. Verse 8. Zion heard and was glad, and the daughters of Judah rejoiced because of thy judgments, O Lord. Verse 9. For thou, Lord, art high above all the earth. Thou art exalted far above all gods. Verse 10. Ye that love the Lord hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. He delivereth them out of the hand of the wicked. Verse 11. Light is sown for the righteous, and gladness for the upright in heart. Verse 12. Rejoice in the Lord, be righteous, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. One of the verses that stuck out to me was verse 7. Confounded be all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves of idols, worship him, ye all ye gods. And it just put me in the mind of worshiping and wooding or a metal or something that can do nothing for you. Yah is the creator of all things, and he cannot be boxed in or set aside and come back to when you're ready to go to that. So that particular verse in there just kind of stood out to me. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments on that? Okay. So with that, we're going to our women's health moment.
Shalom, everyone. Please note that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Tonight's discussion is on the surprising health benefits of peaches, one of my favorite summer fruits. So, summer peaches are one of the Lord's best creations. They're soft and sweet, smell divine, taste good cooked or fresh, and they're full of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Peaches are a type of stone fruit, along with plums, apricots, cherries, and nectarines. As the name suggests, stone fruits have a stone like central pit. Peaches come in white and yellow varieties and offer several nutritional payoffs. Eating peaches every day isn't a health cure all, but there's plenty of reasons to snack on this stone fruit. Here's how the potential benefits of peaches stack up. Peaches are full Peaches are full of good for you vitamins and minerals that your body needs to operate at its best, which include vitamin A and C, potassium, copper, and magnesium. Peaches aid in digestion. A healthy gut relies on good digestion, and peaches are one of your golden tickets to a good digestive flow. It improves heart health. It helps support your immune system. It helps maintain a healthy weight. Nutritious foods like fruits and veggies, including peaches, are low in calories and packed with nutrients to help support a healthy weight. Because they have high water content and are filled with fiber, they may also help you feel full longer. It protects and improves skin. Thanks to their anti inflammatory properties, peaches may help improve and protect your skin. Peaches contain vitamin C, which plays a role in maintaining overall skin health. It also improves eyesight. Peaches may help keep your peepers healthy thanks to an antioxidant in peaches called beta carotene. This antioxidant gives peaches their pretty orange color. Beta carotene can be converted into vitamin A in your body, which is essential for your vision. The bottom line is that peaches are packed with vitamins and antioxidants that make them a tasty and nutritious choice. Adding peaches to your diet can provide a variety of possible benefits, including improving skin, supporting immune health, and aiding in digestion. Tonight I'm going to read Proverbs chapter 10, verses 27 through 32. Fear of the Lord prolonged days. Verse 27. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked shall perish. Verse 29. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the just bringeth forth wisdom, but froward tongue shall be cut out. Verse 32. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. Tonight's discussion was on the surprising health benefits of peaches, and I read Proverbs chapter 10, verses 27 through 32. Fear of the Lord prolongs days. Shalom.
Okay, appreciate that information. Anybody have any comments on that? Okay.
I have a comment on it. Thank you. In the South, we have the peaches, and everybody loves the peaches. But I
Yes.
did not know that they had so many benefits that you talked about there, that I jotted them down. And thank you so much for that.
Yes, ma'am. You can send me some from Fort Valley.
Yes, ma'am. Send me address.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna go into our current event. Yeah, I keep on saying to you keep an eye on South Africa, especially its president. Check out this video.
Let me start off by saying, President Lula, don't worry. When we have the BRICS meeting, the issue of currency is top on the agenda. So we are going to discuss it to address the key challenges that many countries in the world face, particularly the developing economy countries. And we also would be agreed that there needs to be more cooperation and coordination between your development banks, multilateral development banks, and the private sector. There needs to be coordination so that there is no fragmentation, which you kept talking about. But I think what is important to many of us is that there should be solid consensus on the reform of the financial architecture of the world. Because without that reform, the dreams and the objectives that we have to address our challenges will not be realized. And those reforms need to touch on a whole range of issues. Mr. Mo Ibrahim yesterday even spoke about something that we may think is insignificant, that the boards of directors of your multilateral institutions are not made up of independent directors. They are largely internal people or shareholders. So that in itself for us is an important reform. We also need to look at the distribution of the special drawing rights. I find it a bit difficult to be told that this is set in the rules and it will forever be like that, and that it's either you get 0 or you get 34 billion. In our view, this is not a zero-sum game. It's a game where we all need to be dealt with equity in an equitable manner. And there is a need for reform in that regard as well. And the other important thing for this to happen, it will help us not to participate as unequal cousins in these institutions. It will help us to participate fully, and so that we don't have a sense that we are beggars, that we are being dealt with out of generosity. I think it's important in the new era that the world is in now that there should be a good measure of equality among sovereign nations. You know, recently, 7 African countries decided to go and put a call for peace to Ukraine and to Russia. And we raised a number of issues. Zambia was represented, Comoros was represented, Republic of Congo was represented, Senegal was represented, Uganda, as well as South Africa. So we were all represented, and Egypt as well. So we were all at one. that even as we were going to address an issue of the war which has had a negative impact on the African continent, which is the rise in prices for food, rise in prices for fertilizers, we were clear that we are not going there as beggars. We're not going to ask for a favor to both Ukraine and Russia. We were going there to say, open up the Black Sea Channel so that the grains and the fertilizers should go into the world market. So we were not on a begging mission, even as we are in great need as a continent and all that. That should go to demonstrate that Africa should never be seen as a continent that needs generosity. We want to be treated as equals. Even in the multilateral institutions, we want to be treated as equals. And if our equity is at the low ebb, there must be ways in which that can be addressed. To us, this is very important. Our sovereignty is one of the things that we hold on dearly to. And we demonstrated that very clearly to both President Zelensky and to President Putin when it came to this issue. Even as there were suggestions that, yes, we can donate this, we can donate that, we said, we want you to release these grains and fertilizers to the world market so that the world can trade in these commodities and other issues we can handle in a different way. I wanted to make that point so that it should be understood where Africa has evolved up to. We want to be key players on the world stage, want to be key players even in the financial markets and in the MDBs. Now, these are the positive things. I do, Mr. President Macron, want us to address another issue, which to us is a bit of a negative. You will have heard President Sisi talking about the 100 billion that was promised in Paris. President Sassou Nguesso yesterday as well also spoke about it at the dinner. Now there is that issue that a number of the commitments that have been made have not really been fully lived up to. But before I get into details, let me immediately say that we recognize the many initiatives that have been put on the table, and a number of countries here have done so. Germany has gone out of the way to put a number of initiatives, and the US has also done a number of things. But there have been times when we felt like we were beggars. I played a key role as chair of the African Union during the COVID period. We felt like we were beggars when it came to vaccine availability, when we felt we needed access to vaccines, and the Northern Hemisphere countries had bought all the vaccines in the world, and they were hogging them. And they didn't want to release them at the time when we needed them most. And we felt like we were begging. And at times it felt like they would just be droppings from the table, that yes, we will give you that and that. And let me tell you something that generated a lot of resentment. We resented that, and it got worse when we said we want to manufacture our own vaccines. And when we went to the WTO, there was a lot of resistance, enormous resistance. And we kept saying, what is more important, life or profits by your big pharmaceutical companies? And that too, I must tell you now, generated and deepened that disappointment and resentment on our part, because we felt like life in the Northern Hemisphere is much more important than life in the global South. And these are issues that need to be addressed. And I'm glad that we are all seated here like this, because we've got to get to the heart of these matters and address them.
Okay, so you say why I'm playing is, well, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so you got to go back and watch it. It's Bricks confront France in front of the world leaders in a fiery showdown. So we got to watch it. It's the setup. It's all these countries there. They got a big screen TV where everybody can see it, but it's a black dude controlling the whole thing, and they showing the cameraman is working the room. You got to look at the faces on all the people. It's like they can't believe it. You be calling all these different people out. Yeah, you check it out. Okay. Then I got another one right here. Yeah. The OPEC countries then cut the oil off from America. It won't be long.
Saudi Arabia and Russia, the powerhouses of the oil export game, are about to turn up the heat. They've just announced even bigger cuts in oil production. Can you believe it? Amid worries about a global economic slowdown and the U.S. Federal Reserve potentially raising interest rates, these guys are taking bold action. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and their members, including Russia, have joined forces in a pact to slash output by a whopping 2 million barrels per day, starting this November. Now, let me tell you, that's the largest cut they've made since the chaos of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. It seems like they're dead serious about shaking things up. But hey, before we dive deeper into this thrilling story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Tech Revolution. Get back to it. So OPEC and the parties involved made the big decision in an exclusive meeting in Vienna. And as mentioned already, they've decided to cut down on oil production. This move could change the game and give a much needed boost to oil prices. You see, prices have been sliding down the slippery rope, going from $120 to a measly $90 in just 3 months. People were freaking out about a global economic recession, rising US interest rates, and a stronger dollar. But hey, this decision might just turn things around. Now, nobody knows for sure if the cuts will include extra reductions from countries like Saudi Arabia or if they'll simply reduce the existing production. As soon as the decision was announced, the oil prices started dancing their way up. Brent crude jumped by 0.38%, reaching a sweet $92.15 per barrel. The U.S. West Texas Intermediate didn't want to miss out on the fun, climbing up by 0.29% to $86.77 per barrel. After the meeting, Saudi Arabia's energy minister, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, made it clear that the alliance's main focus is to keep the oil market stable and sustainable. It's like their number one priority. So on Wednesday, they decided to reduce oil production by a whopping 2 million barrels per day. These cuts are based on the current figures they already have. Now let's talk about why they couldn't pump out enough oil in the first place. We could trace it back to those Western sanctions. They put a dent in countries like Russia, Venezuela, and Iran. Plus, some producers like Nigeria and Angola face their fair share of output issues too. Prince Abdulaziz spilled the beans on the actual cuts. They're aiming for a range of 1 to 1.1 million barrels per day. Then Mohammed Al Suwayed, the CEO of Razin Capital, sounded the alarm. He warned that this decision might worsen the global price increases that are already causing chaos in the world economy. He believes that when they cut down on oil production, it makes the prices go up. But here's the thing, this decision doesn't seem to be based on the usual market stuff. Hassan thinks that the current oil prices are influenced by all these geopolitical happenings, not the usual market stuff. And we might have to deal with even higher interest rates and inflation because of it. He's worried that with inflation going up and the economy being a bit shaky, people might not be as keen on buying oil in the next few months. That could throw things off balance, and we don't want that to happen, do we? So,
Okay. Any comments on it? Anybody paying attention to that? Okay. Okay, we'll go to some need to know information. This is back to Africa.
Dollarization concept is getting momentum with a lot of African leaders talking about changing their currency.
So they're getting bold because of what they're looking at this other guy doing for South Africa. And like I said, you gotta look at the looks on these people's faces. These world leaders.
A united one currency.
I have no time for borders. Why? I have no time for colonialism. They don't have borders in Europe. But when it comes to us, they say, no, you must have borders. Why? The division of Africa is what makes them thrive. They thrive on the division of the African continent. Can you imagine the minerals of DRC combined with the minerals of South Africa and with a new currency based on the minerals? What we can do to the dollar if we become a United States of Africa,
Africa attacking the dollar
with our minerals alone, we can collapse the dollar. We can collapse the strong pound that is based on gold, yet they don't have a gold mine. So why do you allow such things?
Yes, there has been heated debates about the de-dollarization in Africa. Experts say the use of the US dollar in African trade comes with a very high cost, and this has been going on for a long time. Mr. President, you have been vocal about the freedom of Africa. Does de-dollarization in Africa sound like another way of the continent's total liberation, bearing in mind that Rwanda is celebrating 29 years of liberation?
Well, there are many things we find ourselves doing or having to deal with that are not ideal, but they are dictated by many factors that we have no immediate control over. Picking de-dollarization as just one aspect of things we have to deal with as a continent to achieve the final goal of de-dollarization. There are other things that back it up that we shouldn't forget to do, including making integration work, making free trade and free movement of people, goods and services, work. It's a debate worthwhile having, but not forgetting what needs to be done.
And it's not just African leaders talking about this. It's also China, it's also Brazil, it's also India. The people that are affected are getting tired of being slaves to the dollar, and dollar has been affecting countries' growth and even their power to buy and sell goods. And this is something that is frustrating a lot of people and countries. So now it seems like they want to do something about it. Everybody is coming together to speak in one voice. I guess it's about time because countries feel like they are suffering because of the US dollar, and now it looks like countries are coming together one by one to change the current currency situation.
Okay, any comments on that? Yeah, so I was talking the other day. About give me 1 minute. Yeah, I was talking the other day about this channel I was listening to. These two guys talking about, you know, when you understand that the Antichrist already came and all that, and so the mark, and they were saying that the mark, when you go back and you look at it, and like the people wasn't, you know, when the prophets wrote that down and all that, it was referring to what was going on at the time. So they knew what the mark was at that time. It wasn't no futuristic mark or nothing. So when he started reading off the interpretation of what the mark was, and he was saying how it was an impression, or it was like a stamp or a coin. You know how they make coins. So when you start looking at that and understanding that the four beasts, when they came into existence, is the beast system. And so you say, what are you talking about? Okay, Israel. The reason why you had a four beasts is that Israel, that's when Israel became a nation, when they came out of Egypt. When they came in the land, then it was Assyria was the superpower at the time, and then Babylon came on the scene right along the same time when Israel became a nation. That's why the angel gave Daniel the four beasts. It was four beasts that was going to come on earth after Israel became a nation. So the first three, Israel was still in power. It was at the end of the third beast and the fourth beast where Israel not in power no more. So that's the system. The beast system is a system that's in place without Israel controlling the world. So so the four beasts started when the Romans came on the scene. So when you start talking about the mark, could it not be the dollar itself? When you listen to what the lady was just saying, how the people couldn't, you know, all these, it hinders all the rest of the countries. It uplifts, you know, the Anglo-Saxon and the European powers, but everybody else is a torment. So could that not be the mark, the dollar? There's something to think about. Yeah. So with that being said, I was gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they want to talk about or they came across?
Shalom. Um, I don't know if we mentioned it before, the 7 years. It says, what about the 7 years? Is that the 7,000 years of the Lord's year, of our years, or the 7 years of God's year that we are in? We're close to the 7 year. This is the 7th year, um, if I'm saying it correctly.
It goes back to Daniel. Well, let's look at it. You got a week of years, right? So when it goes to the earth, the man, we got 7 days for man. The Sabbath is for man. So 6 days a man's supposed to work, and then he rests on the 7th day. That was set in place by the Creator in the beginning. It was 6 days of creation, and the 7th day rested. But the earth, most just like it's a man on this planet that he formed. He got 7 angels that he formed. So that means when you say formed, that means he fashioned them. He fashioned that Adam. He got another man he created, but he fashioned Adam. And then so he fashioned Michael, those other 6 angels, and he also fashioned the earth with his hands. So he formed it. So the earth is 7 years surrounding the earth, the land, which is you till the ground for 6 years. 6 years, the 7th year you allow the ground to rest. That's the week of years. It's a week of years. Just like you have a week of days, 7 days a week, you got a week of years. So that's in Daniel. We go to Daniel chapter 9, I think it is. So no matter what they're doing down there on the earth, when you start talking about all these prophecies and all that, that's what these angels is dealing with. That's what the Most High is dealing with. Damn what everybody doing on earth. His timeline is these weeks of years, these prophecies. That's what the book of Jubilees is. That's what Jubilee means. Seven times seven. 7 weeks of years is 49 years. The 50th year is the Jubilee. That's why the book of Jubilees is heaven's time. We keep time by Jubilees. So you go to Daniel. Okay. And I'm not gonna really. So you go to Daniel chapter 9, verse 20. So it says, and while I was speaking and praying and confessing my sins and the sins of my people Israel, and presenting my supplications before the Lord my God for the holy mountain of my people, yea, while I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, this an angel, whom I had seen in a vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation. And he informed me and talked with me, and he said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee skill and understanding. At the beginning of the supplication, the commandment came forth, I am come to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore understand the vision and consider it. So here we go. This how they keeping time. It don't matter what we're doing. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. So what is 70 weeks? 6 days you till the ground, 7th day. 6 years you till the ground, 7th year you let the ground rest. That's a week. So 70 weeks of years is 490 years. So you go back and look at, and everything is being gauged by this. It's heaven time, just like the reason why so much chaos on earth with us, we got a confusion of faith right now because the language is not here. Our language ain't here. That's why we throw it out. But anyway, so same thing with this. So a reason they had to go to Babylon was 70 years. What 70 years? Sabbath years. He gave them the land and inherited, but they wasn't allowing the land to rest every seven years for 490 years. So he brought the Chaldeans to run them out the land so it can rest. So he sent them to Babylon for 70 years. So that's what a week of years is. 6 years our time. 6 years you till the ground and you harvest and reap and all that, and then on that 6th year you just let the crops grow. You don't till the ground, you don't do nothing, you just let them grow, and then the people do what they want with the crop. You can't harvest it.
Shalom. So
Okay.
if they say we are in our 7th year, we're doing like they did back when. They're not letting things rest.
Oh,
It's a
yeah,
lot of chaos.
right. That's the whole purpose of us. What people are understanding about when you, like I was saying, when you say that he protected the 66 books, that's a joke. How's he? I mean, he gave Israel. That's the whole purpose of him casting us out the land. That the order was he gave it up. Everything that he had given us, like he said. What nation is like this nation that have laws, statutes, and judgments that I gave you, and prophecies and all that? No other nation had that. But Israel took that for granted. So he took it all over the way. The language, the laws, everything. That's why we're in the predicament we're in. And that's why you see me reading that all the time when Daniel says, unto us belong a confusion of faith. Because everything that has to do with us, our culture, is taken away. So that's only we got given us until these cases are over with is confusion of faith.
Shalom. So being that right now we are in the confusion of faith, we don't know when it's going to let up.
Well, we see it being let up now because of these conversations we having now. Like I was saying before, I mean, you gotta sit back and ask yourself, you know, how in the hell did a man, after all these years, and after everything's been done, how did he see? How can you see Michael in the scriptures? After all that been done to the scriptures, it was prophesied. And like I was saying, that time came, and we see he waking up Israelites, and he revealing things to them. That's how we know the end is here.
Shalom. Okay, I see. So I want to just give my take on it, how I'm
Okay.
interpreting what you're saying right now. You're saying that being that our eyes are being peeled back to see what is written, and our ears are
Right.
unstopped to hear what has been written. Now we can dissect what is really there and
Right.
know that Michael is the Lord of hosts, and that we have the other six archangels are here to help us and guide us and correct us,
Right.
because Yahweh, the our God, who has created them, is waiting for things to come into play as He has ordered it in the beginning.
Right.
Yahweh.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Right. It's appointed. It's a time. It's prophecy. Time appointed. And like I said, it's a clock that's in heaven. Clock ain't on earth, because we're not keeping. If you when you understand what I was saying, when you understand what Jubilees, the Book of Jubilees mean, the Book of Jubilees, the angels is telling a story in all through the Book of Jubilees, and they're telling you by heaven's time, which is every 50 years. 49 years, 7 times 7 is 49. The 50th year of the Jubilee. And that's what these angels telling you. That's how you keep when you start seeing how Methuselah lived like 900 some years, and Enoch lived 70s, 365 years. Well, those years their life is divided up by 50s, Jubilees. And that's how so angels is dictating and doing all that. You don't have nothing to do with what these people that concocted down here on earth and then took away the order. Is when the time that's in heaven come to a certain point, there's something been prophesied, is ain't nothing on the earth gonna stop it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else got anything you want to talk about?
Sure. Well, Shalom. I just wanted to piggyback off Cheryl, when you say your eyes have been peeled back. When and again, you could correct me, Brother Leonard. Your faith, your spirit, that has been changed now in from the JC to the Lord of hosts, because now you have that zeal. Now you want to know the right thing. And even though we use the image of your eyes, it's pretty much not so much your eyes, it's your heart that is following the truth, that continues to lead you to what is the real word, what is the real prophecy. When you go back and research, as you have been encouraging us, showing us, and in many instances correcting and again showing us in the Bible, in the Old Testament, where the New Testament has befooled us many years. And so
Right.
now that we continue to press forth with our zeal in our hearts to do this thing, just like the prophecy has laid out, that we have to come back, O Israel, to your first love, because when you yet sin and have been confused and confounded in the prophecy that has been laid out, at the end of this prophecy, like you are showing us, things are coming to light. And as you have said, Cheryl, see now, you can see these words come to life, and they meet with your spirit and heart desire with the zeal to make you a part of this prophecy in the making, so that you can continue to be not yet afraid, be not in mystery, because these things have been told already. Just walk in your faith and continue to strengthen that faith by keeping those words in your heart and in your mind and in your soul, so then when these things come up, you're not in the confounded state anymore, because we're in that era where now again we're seeing the truth.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Shalom.
Right. So just to add to that, you know, when you understand that, and this is what Christianity coming in there was, you know, I'm constantly trying to lay a stronger foundation for anybody that's trying to put all this stuff together. So you have to understand that when you say spirit, our spirits ain't come from him. So we see continuously in the spirit, like I said, I try to do every chance I get, break down on things that's being said in the scriptures so you understand what's being said. So he says, you see in the scriptures where he says, and those that go down into the pit. So what are you talking about? So those wicked spirits. When the angels came and slept with a woman and got a Nephilim, and then all this DNA that come from him, that spirit ain't come from God. So that's what hell was created for. So when a person died, that soul, that spirit go down into the pit. That's what he's talking about. So we see from the characteristics, you know, especially in my book I wrote on history of his story, the characteristics of those angels. That's what the purpose of those 7 angels. They taking that spirit that came from heaven that's in the body, that's in that body. Ain't no other spirit. It's that righteous spirit that was put in there. When that person passed, their time sojourn on the earth is over. Those angels are there to escort that spirit back to heaven to the end. That's what those same spirits is what he brings back in Ezekiel 37 and put back in the bodies that he regenerates. And so you have to understand that. So when you say when he say those who have ears, let them hear. That's what he's talking about. Everybody don't have ears to hear because they make up. It's like go back to DNA. You ain't given. I mean, if you ever been listening or trying to convey some of this information right here to somebody and they just don't get it, it's like war on duckback. It's something wrong. But he got people that you can talk to that's been searching for it, and as soon as they hear it, they light on it. That's what he's talking about. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear, and eyes to see, let them see. Everybody don't have ears to hear and eyes to see, and it goes back to that. When you understand the construct or how everything came into place, that's the major point. Yeah.
I'm shalom in agreement, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Shalom.
Yeah, so all that has to be, and I mean, from me, my researching, and when I was, all the stuff was being laid out to me, conveyed to me, he's saying this holy race. See what I'm saying? What holy race? So if you got a wife, and she a virtuous woman, and then you just ain't gonna put any clothes on her, any old dress or any old. If she go get a leather jacket, you ain't gonna just give them any old jacket. So those souls that the Most High created, he's not gonna put any old body, which is that's what a body is, a jacket. The soul and the body, 2 different things. So we just didn't put any old body or DNA around that soul. So that's what he's talking about, the holy race. That's why we got all the talent. That's why we so hated. He put that jacket on us when he come down. That's why he's saying That's why Leah can have 3 kids, then he cut her off. And then he go over here, Sarah can't have no kids, then till she get 99, then he give her a kid. That's how all that's going on. He doing all that. And that all that's paid when you have to really understand all that and understand what's being said and conveyed in the scriptures. You know, and that's what's going on. But that, you know, you can't digest none of that thinking, trying to incorporate the New Testament or any of the ideologies in the New Testament, JC, it ain't gonna happen. Like I was saying, how is he, it tells you he died for everybody on the earth. When you go to Genesis chapter 10, Ham ain't no Gentile. The Gentiles in verses 1 through 5. The Japhet, the Europeans are Gentiles. Then the Shem is the Israelites. So who was Ham? So once you see that, then who he said he died for everybody. Then you ain't even dealing with the Nephilim. He all blood. He came and died for all blood. The Nephilim got blood. Come on, that's a joke. And like I said, coming back around, you can't he protected the 66 books. When you see what these devils have done, Josephus and Shakespeare and all them, but he protected the books. You know what I'm saying? What's more important? The Adam's descendants, the race of people he created, or the scriptures. So he scattered us. He scattered the word was scattered too. That's the first thing they did. That's the only reason we where we at. The word was scattered. Our history was scattered. That's a joke. Okay.
Shalom. This is Cheryl.
Yeah.
I want to say, by you saying it was scattered to protect us as a nation, being that we were punished
No.
also.
No. It wasn't protected. It wasn't scattered to protect us. So the temple, right? The temple
Yes,
that
sir.
Solomon built, then Zerubbabel came back and built it. What was the purpose of that temple?
For all to come and pray.
Right. For him to dwell God. When you understand that it's not just God, Yahweh in heaven. He got angels. He got these angels. Then he got the Lord of hosts. He already have a temple in heaven. So for God, the Godhead to dwell among us. So we know Lord, Michael was in his temple. So that was for his people, because all the rest of the nations, the Nephilim and all them couldn't go in the temple. So the temple was for this specific group of people. They ears and they eyes that can hear, not for everybody else. So when they didn't appreciate that, he can come down in the temple and dwell with us. What David's talking about all through the Psalms, and the 3 feast days. And he ain't gotta get on no airplane or get on no boat and float some way somewhere to get to the Lord of hosts. He coming to them. He took him gave him a land, then he caused him to build a temple. He coming down there. His presence in that temple. They didn't appreciate that. So he got rid of the temple. So they gave him a word. He gave us all these holy men. They gave us scriptures. They didn't appreciate that. He took the scriptures away. He gave us a pure language. We didn't appreciate it. He took that away. That's why we're in confusion of faith.
Thank you.
Right. And so then now that we waking up, you can't look to them. Like I said, we saw what this other clown did yesterday with Zerubbabel. He beat that up, chopped it all up. But so you can't look to them. You're not gonna get the information from them. They don't have it. It's impossible for them to have it. But we've been brainwashed to believe that they got the information when they don't have it.
Yes, sir. So, as you were speaking and we were talking about the temple and everything, so now at this present date, um, I look to see that they're still confusing everyone with the Pope and going to to him and confessing to him so he can go to the God and speak to him. Uh, that's the way they're doing it over there. And being that they have all the strolls there,
Exactly.
words, um, in like you were saying about the temple, they're making it as that because a lot of them go from Mecca. They all come there and and pray on a certain day and just get there and thinking that's the day of holy day or something
Mhm.
that they can be redeemed or refreshed or whatever, because I don't know really about that part of it. I just know that that it shows they go in there on a certain day and everyone's thousands and thousands of them go and do their worship.
Exactly right. Yeah, all this all that is the information they have from our records. They took the records and we don't have no access to them, but they got access to them, and so you thinking they're doing something spiritual and all that, but all it is they just it's copying and it's copying from the our records. That's how all this stuff came into existence. Just like I was just talking uh, about the wicked years, right? Those Edomites, Israelis that you call the over in Israel, the land of Israel, the people that's in the land of Israel right now, they keeping those they're keeping those 6 days, 6 years, and the one in those 6 years 6 years you till the ground, and then the seventh year you let the ground and the country, the nation, you let it rest, which is what they call the year of release, which is tied to the money. The reason why he told us don't loan our money and all that. They doing all that. That's why the money is flowing to them, because they doing it, but they doing it. They didn't put a twist on it, a wicked ass twist on it. But they doing everything that Most High, the Lord host, gave us. When he said, "What nation is like unto thee?" They have these laws and these statutes and these ordinances and all that. Us. So they got it, but they can't perform it in righteousness because they ain't righteous. But they doing it and they reaping the benefits of it. That wicked years is called some Shemitah. You can research it. Go back and look at uh, um, the stock market crash, the Great Depression. You can see every they doing it. They playing the role of God, the role of the Lord of hosts. 2001 was when the World Trade Center was crashed. 7 years later, 2008, they crashed crashed the market with the bank. The bank crashed in 2008. Then 15, you can go look. They're doing the same thing, but it's doing it in wickedness. They got hell to pay, and so they beside themselves because of like I said, the Most High is keeping his timeline is not gonna fail. But it's been going on so long, they're thinking that Most High and Lord of Hosts, you know, like Elijah said, he gone on a journey somewhere, gone on a picnic, but they don't know. It's a time, a Moab. And when that time comes, it's over with. And that's what we're looking at. We see the signs of it. Like I said, we just got these men, these African men. There's a guy from South Africa. These people are astonished. Like I said, to listen to it is one thing, but to watch the video and watch the cameraman playing the camera around the room, they are astonished. They know it ain't nothing but a matter of time. This place it's gonna be flipped upside down, and that's where we at. They never would have figured that it was gonna, that those Africans would be in a position that they're in. It's the Most High, it's the Lord of hosts, doing his thing.
Shalom. Shalom. What is the name of that video,
This
sir?
Africa is going to be no, that's not it. I took it off. I have to go. Let me go back right quick. Okay. Did anybody write that down? Okay. Yeah, it's BRICS confront France in front of the world leaders in a fiery show. You got it?
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
So yeah, you gotta just look at how all these people react. Even the stage they said, that's not even, that was never imagined. What happened in their mind with this black dude, especially African, controlling all that, talking to everybody. He got Putin and Exene behind him. Yeah, and all the rest of even our African leaders, they stunned. They can't believe what they're looking at up on the screen on TV. They're looking at each other, looking crazy. So that's what time it is. That's how Most High and Lord Host work. Yeah. So let me play this right here. This pertaining to that. I'll play this and then we'll go start reading out of the Book of Ruth. Okay, let me get it. So the guys, this is a white man, and he's explaining that real soon that Africa is going to be a superpower, and they're going to have hell to pay. So we seen this story before. Nebuchadnezzar was a nobody. We read in the Book of Judith where Nebuchadnezzar sent those letters out for those different countries to come help him, but he was a nobody. And they're not knowing that the Most High sending those 7 angels to help him fight against at the time Assyria was a superpower, but they weren't strong enough to deal with Michael and those 6 angels. So Nebuchadnezzar went out to battle with him, but he had Michael with him, and he destroyed the Assyrians. So then after that same man that they had disregarded and disrespected, now he coming back, pissed off. And that's what's happening right here. So the guy's telling you that Africa's gonna be a superpower soon, and they're not gonna forget the way they was handled.
Kamala Harris visit, and not a good one. Remember this clip? I love it. Arrogance of the Americans, the bulliness of the Americans. Let me even throw it on the west side. America right now comes to Tanzania, comes to Ghana, comes to Zambia with 16 million. The 16 million, ask me what is it for? What is it for? For human rights. Across the river, China and Russia coming to South Africa. Ask me for what? For what? For a military training and skills sharing of security. So the Americans are more interested in a transgender, homosexual agenda around the world. They will invest their money and give you money to protect human rights. Russia and China are coming with weapons and militarization strategies so that we can protect ourselves. So I want to say this very loud and clear to the Americans. Continue on your transgender agenda. Right. Stay there. Leave us to do politics on the other side. Because what we need right now is not a minority human rights activation. What we need is a societal transformation. You were spot on, Lupanga, and a societal transformation is what they've done. We're going to go through a progressive move by Africa and the likes which have never been seen. So like, sub, and watch this video throughout. It's fascinating. We bless Africa with prayers and love. The U.S. made a trip to force the LGBTQ agenda on a country that has the highest moral ethics and values of any nation, African culture and family. Nonetheless, that was a telling moment for Africans, and they gave Kamala and the Western world a taste of reality.
Okay, first of all, let's get this straight. United States, USA, whatever you guys call yourself, you cannot go around the world and start bullying people to do stuff because you guys are okay with all this bullshit and nonsense. Africa is not your fucking country. If you want to accept all this LGBTQ stuff going on here, that's fine. That is fine. That will give you the right to go try to bully other country to do this fucking thing. Keep your ass in America. Keep your ass in Europe. That is just simple.
Why are they going to Africa to beg Africans and to force Africans to accept homosexuality in Africa? This is a big insult to black African country. Stop insulting black Africans by going to Africa and telling us to accept homosexuality in our countries. If you accept homosexuality in America, that is America. We don't have nothing to do with that. That's your business.
So now I've just shown you two examples of how African citizens have viewed the Vice President Kamala Harris LGBTQ visit, but the government leaders in Africa who actually listened to their people and side with the majority, true democracy, took drastic steps for their people. True democracy is what they've shown. And when I say drastic measures they've taken, well, they rewrote their playbook on how they were going to move forward and away from America's insanity. Africa said no and meant it. Meaningful actions without the flossiness and the hilification that politicians are so good at. Africa fired back with faith-based actions and works and instituted strict anti-gay laws and legislation to be carried out by law enforcement. Major moves took place on a pace so fast that the Biden administration had no time to talk. Maybe that's because the leaders of Africa wouldn't even let them talk. They told American bureaucrats to shut up. No, literally, to shut up.
Those who like easy life end up as prostitutes. And that's what they want us to be. They want Africa to be prostitutes.
So like I was saying, we're looking right at what I was just saying. The spirits, they ain't same spirits. You can see the way these people acting, the way we act, and the way they act. The only reason so many of us throw it off over here because we've been over here amongst them. But this is the Most High creation in full effect right here. It ain't everybody got a choice. No, it's who you are. Your DNA is gonna speak for it. That's why he told them don't mingle with those people. Don't do that. Don't do nothing with these people over here. He pointed all of them out. Different jacket on that spirit. Okay.
What we don't believe in because we want money. And this is what I told them. Whenever they come to me, I say, you please shut up. Now, I want to congratulate the honorable members of parliament on your stand on the Ebitingwa. That's what the Banyankole call what they call homosexuals. Congratulations. I congratulate you for that strong stand. It is good that you rejected the pressure from the imperialists. And this is what I told them. Whenever they come to me, I say, you please shut up.
From that moment, Africa took a new stance and found new friends, or at least new allies, who wouldn't impose any of their traditions or cultures like the West. They shook hands with Russia and China and said, screw NATO for now. We want in on the BRICS, where the security and trade has been a playbook more to their liking. America had it wrong. They overplayed their hand. The American government tried to impose on Africans what it easily imposed on its own citizens through intimidation tactics, cancel culture, and being branded as hate groups even. The U.S. government got a wake-up call from a country who actually stood strong on their faith when they tried it on African soil. And now that many African countries have established new anti-gay laws and more of their countries are following suit, it doesn't stop there. Africa's not playing games anymore, guys. Even as far as denouncing the American dollar, they're talking fiscal and monetary actions that will move them forward into being not only a world leaders in trade, but eventually obtaining or at least getting started on the road to superpower status, which they deserve. they're a powerful people. The president of Kenya even stepped forward and told his people to get rid of your American dollars, will be devalued from the upcoming economic climate. Great information for any stockholders, and he said we're going to start this momentum into buying our fuel with the shilling.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you shortly might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks. The dollar availability in the next couple of weeks is going to be very different, because our fuel companies will now be paying for fuel in Kenya shillings. They do not have to look for dollars every month.
He also stated that they would not put climate change laws into effect if they were going to hinder the economy that hurt families and livelihoods of the people that are living in Africa. So that was great to hear. So now African leaders are dealing in their new social and economic issues, and it's giving the world that common sense look again. And they also see a problem with the fake news and have even asked them to quit pushing false narratives to the publics for a paycheck. Well, said in a more dignified manner. Take a look.
All I ask of our good friends in the civil society space, including you, Mo, is always to look out for the interests of the people of our continent, and not sometimes to play to the gallery of the people who pay your check.
Hey guys, Toby Mathis here, and question I get all the time.
Comment?
Africa has taken a new lead.
Any comments on that? So we see what's happening. So it's that video there was Africa is going to be a superpower soon. Okay. So you see this stuff is happening. So it can't last. Can't last. It's like, I mean, what it remind me of is like I said, it was prophesied. And the time clock is in heaven. He told them 70 years you're gonna be in Babylon. So build houses and whatever. 70 years you're coming out. So he told them, serve Nebuchadnezzar, his son, and his grandson. Then his grandson was called a feast with all the cups and the dishes and all the gold that was Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple in Jerusalem. He called a feast and started drinking out of them. And 70 years came. You know the story. Cyrus came in. It was over. That's what we're looking at now.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Can we
Yes.
take back to when the fallen angels of Samuel came and started having sex with the women and then with the men, and then as the Gentiles started replicating with that evil spirit doing the same thing, and if we bring it up to date, could we say that this is the LGBTQ?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And
Yeah.
like I was saying, go back to the law, statutes, and judgments. I told you that when he kicked us out of the land, it's no longer in effect. So what was one of the statutes? 2 men get caught together, kill both of them, take them outside the city and kill both of them.
Stone them.
And then stone them. Yeah. Then same with women. So we said, what was the purpose of it? To rid the earth. To rid the earth of it. So why is it multiplied? Israel ain't a nation no more. Those statutes ain't being kept. So they multiplying.
Shalom.
Right. And that's 101.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I want to go to that point where they're speaking on Africa. They're going to allow China to come in and build homes for them, and Russia comes in to help them they also have Christianity within um, Africa,
Right.
some parts of Africa. So by the um, I don't know which the speaker was speaking. He said for them to stop using them just to get paid and speak the truth about them. I
Right.
also know that they went in years ago with the Christianity of helping them, feeding them, and also I believe, and it's probably notated that they took and used them as guinea pigs to take their DNA to search and find out what diseases they're prone to, not prone to, how they can get. They're also using them, and let's shine the whole light on it. China is using them, Russia is using them, uh, I believe, and the U.S. is using them to do things so they can benefit from Africa. But I am glad that the president is standing up in his eyes, again, or in his zeal, is up for to know, to let everyone know that they know what's going on.
Right.
That's all I have to say about it.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Just so it's just going to be prophecy. It's going to play itself out. And so, like I was saying, when you understand who's the guiding force behind all of it, you're not gonna. We can't be in the dark on prophecy. So that's why all this stuff is coming to the light because we can't be in the dark on it. We have to know it in order to be to look to see it coming. He has to show it to us in order for us to see it coming. That was the whole purpose of the prophets back in the day. That was the purpose of Melchizedek and all that. Somebody had something.
Yes, sir, Brother Leonard. I was going to say everything that's taking place in Africa right now and everything that is going to take place, it has nothing to do with man. It it's the Lord of hosts behind it all. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
right. I think where it says in Ezekiel, I think chapter 36, where he says, I will give you a new heart and new spirit, right? So he is the force behind all of this happening because we can think that China's doing one thing or is gonna do one thing, the same thing with Russia, but it's him that is guiding all of this.
Right. Right. We see that through Cyrus, through Nebuchadnezzar, through the
Yes, sir.
Pharaoh. He
Yes.
said, I'm gonna harden his heart.
Right.
And then he told him, I'm gonna bring Cyrus 500 years before he came. I'm gonna bring. He didn't just say, I'm gonna bring a man. He said, I'm gonna bring Cyrus. That's why
Right.
the
A
Israelites,
certain man. Right.
yeah, the Israelites nutted up when Cyrus came on the scene. They nutted up because he had already told them. Cyrus ain't even know nothing about the prophecy. The Israelites told him. Yeah,
Okay. Come on now.
yeah.
Praise.
Shalom. So, okay, Joyce. Go ahead, Joyce.
No, you go ahead. I'll go after you.
Okay, so again, what we're saying is this. Now, I'm talking in a whole. What I'm hearing is this, that when I spoke of China, Russia, um, as a nation of or a country that's coming to Africa, there, the Lord of Hosts is using China, Russia to do so. And so, not just a man, it's a nation, not just the President Putin. No, I believe it's Russia as a whole because he's coming from, or they're from that country. China as a whole, it not just the president of China. Um, it's coming as a whole to, far as integrating into Africa. And as you said it, Michelle, that it is the Lord of hosts using, I'm thinking you saying using them to do so. So what we can't see in the spiritual realm, we're seeing in the physical of these nations coming into Africa. Like you said, Brother Leonard, that he used Cyrus, he used, those are ones coming into and doing the things, because we have to, not have to, but we are seeing with our physically seeing things that's happening through the Lord of hosts. He's using them to conquer and do the things because of the hardening of their heart that he did for, so they can do this, so they won't take the, yes, we're going to kill them all, yes, we're using them to do this, yes, we're doing this, we're not feeling pity for them, we're going to continue until it's time for them to come back and become who they're supposed to be, or until the Lord of hosts comes down and separate again. Because now it's like we said that United States was a melting pot. It seems like right now to me that Africa is becoming a melting pot because so many people are going into Africa for the gold. They say, far as the United States, the stars and everyone going to certain parts of Africa, not just saying Africa, because in Africa there's plenty more nations within Africa. Africa's huge, so to pick a little part, Ghana, to pick a, different little parts of Africa, it's huge. So we have to say, like you said, the Lord of hosts is using those, it's not men who's doing it. The Lord of hosts is using the men to do this, using those nations to take over or to integrate into Africa.
Right.
Shalom. I just want to add of that in the book you wrote, Brother Leonard, about the different angels and their responsibilities. So their responsibilities have played out from the beginning until now and will continue to play out in the roles in which they have to do. So if we look at destruction, if we look at redeeming, whatever one we look at an an angel that has been ordered, who has been made responsible for the different actions to um, have the prophecy be played out. Shalom.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's just so sent is a better word. They sent.
Yes, sir. Sent.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, man, yeah. It's all like I said. It's nothing. He says the scriptures. It's nothing that's done on the earth that is not known in heaven. So you understand that. For example, when I was just listening to the conversation, right? So he says that the man whom he formed, he put him in the garden, so he separated him. Right? So we see the Most High in his creation ain't bringing no people together. When you start talking about people coming together and migrating, that ain't him. When they come like a melting pot, that ain't him. Because we noticed when he brought the Israelites out of Egypt, he separated them from the Egyptians and brought them to their own land. Same way he did with Adam. He made a man on the sixth day, and he took Adam and put him in the garden and separated him from the other people. So he's a separator. He's not dealing with it's Samuel and these fallen angels are the ones that's about melting people together, merging people together and all that, and mingling and intermingling. It's them. We see that in when he's talking to Lucifer in Ezekiel, when he says that you come together, brought traffic together, and merchants and all that. That's him. He tied to that, which takes you back to the bankers. We know who the bankers are. All them is a culture. They're dealing with these fallen angels and this fallen angel technology. They're the ones mingling, bringing people together and intermingling them, building societies like America and Great Britain. They behind all that. Most High got people that he won't separate. He not mingling nobody together. Yeah. Okay, anybody else got anything? I'm gonna read anybody got any more comments?
I just want to say thank you for clearing that up and making it more clearer. Um, the angels of Yahweh and then the angels of Samuel and what is prophesied and supposed to happen, responsibilities like you've said, is much clearer. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Shalom. I want to say it too. Thank you, Michelle, for just, help me direct my thoughts. Because, again, if we don't ask questions, if we don't elaborate on things that we trying to understand, we will fall off the map, fall off the wagon, and won't be a part of it. Because I thought that, when I did speak on the melting pot, did speak on uh, Russia, Israel, I mean, Russia and China. I'm glad you guys brought me back and just opened it up more to see actually what's really going on. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Miss Michelle.
Thank
Shalom,
you.
So
sisters.
I'm in Ruth, book of Ruth. Start reading at chapter 1. So it says, the title is The Misfortunes of Naomi's Family in Moab. So that's saying a whole lot. When you, like I was saying, my thing is building the foundation. That when you see certain words and things, you can pretty much uh, understand what's going on. So we know that Moab. Anybody know who Moab is? When it comes to the scriptures,
Um, you said it once. I did not write it down.
yeah.
Would you say
So
it again?
at the when Michael came to Sodom and Gomorrah, he got Lot out. Lot and his two daughters, and the angels took them and set them down in the mountains, up in the mountains, and they watched, they witnessed Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed, but they thought that was the end of the world. They thought they were the only ones left. So his two daughters got together, got Lot drunk, and each one of them took turns and slept with him, and each one of them got pregnant. So Moab, the nation of Moab, came forth from an ancestral relationship. And Ammon, Moab and Ammon. One girl had Ammon, a son by her father, Ammon, and the other girl had a son, Moab. So Most High told Israel they can't mingle with them because how they came about. They came about, their origins is from an incestuous relationship. So just to read that, the misfortunes of Naomi's family in Moab. They ain't got no business in Moab. So that's why they having the misfortune. Okay, but anyway, so we're gonna see how that play out. But it says, now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn to the country of Moab, he and his wife and his two sons. See, so that when you understand that it ain't gonna turn out good, he told them don't intermingle with them, don't deal with the Moabites and the Ammonites. So the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife was Naomi, and the name of his two sons were Malum and Chilum. I can't say these names. Euphrates of Bethlehem, Judah, and they came into the country of Moab and continued there. And Edom, Naomi's husband, died. That already started at the top. Edom, Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her two sons. And then check it out. And they took, and they took them wives of the women of Moab. That's a no-no. They took wives of the women of Moab. And the name of one was Orphana, and the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. Now check it out. And Malem and Helam died. So the men died because they ain't got no business there. So it says, also both of them and the women were left of her two sons and her husband. So we had this conversation before. It's like it's not no disrespect and nothing like that. But see, right here, men dead. So it's the women left. If they in charge, like you said, the Most High and judgment came. When you see like the woman that tried to kill all the seed royal, if she in charge, it's disorder in Israel. He didn't. The men was out of place. He didn't do something to them. If the woman is ruling, so we see right here, both these men knew better. All three of them dead. So it says 6. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, and that she might return from the country of Moab. And she had heard in the country of Moab how the Lord had visited his people and given them bread. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her two daughters-in-laws with her, and they went. Hold up 1 minute. Okay. The two daughters-in-law went with her, and they went on their way to return unto the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her two daughter-in-laws, Go, return each to your mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you as ye have dealt with the dead and with me. And the Lord grant you that you may find rest, each one of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, if I shall have a husband also tonight, and should also bear sons. So, anybody get anything out of that? It's a whole lot right there, but anybody get anything out of that? Anything
Uh,
click?
Yes.
yes.
Shalom.
What you
Yes.
got? What
I
you got?
what I've gotten is that she was telling them that she could not have any more children for them to marry and have kids. Keep the legacy or the generation going, for them to go back to where they came from, to their people, and serve, um, perhaps serve their God, be back with their own. And I don't know, um, being that she knew that she was a she was a woman who wasn't gonna bear no more children and marry anybody. So she knew her end was at the end. She was at her end.
Shalom.
Okay.
I got I, as as well. She they went into that land where they should not have gone in Moab, and her husband Emily, he died because he pretty much brought them there, and
Right.
because of that, him disobeying, he was killed. Then the two sons who married that they should not have married, they were killed. And so now she's telling them, go, because I have, I have sinned, I have done wrong. And if you all stay with me, something is going to, something could happen to you all. So go back and don't, and don't stay with me. Shalom.
Okay. Yeah. So for a couple of things I want to shine light on. So first of all, 6. Then she arose Then she arose with her daughter-in-law, so that she might return to her country. More, for here you go right here. For she had heard, look at this, she had heard in the country of Moab. So they in the country of Moab. She had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people and given them bread. So now the Most High visited Israel. They not with it. They're not in the land of Israel. They over there with Moab. They over catching hell. Now they done heard that the Most High done blessed Israel. Well, now she ready to go. See that?
Shalom.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now let's go back to another story just like this one. I'm in Genesis. There's a whole lot going on. So I'm in Genesis. Let me get it. Give me a minute. Get my Bible. Okay. Yeah, 38. Genesis 38. This is a story of it's the same thing going on. But remember how he says that in the last days he's gonna raise David up and they're gonna have one shepherd, not two. JC supposed to be the shepherd, but he said they're gonna have one shepherd and they're gonna keep my laws, my statutes, and my judgments. So here go one of the statutes right here. Ezekiel 38 says, verse 1, it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren, turned into a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite. They can't deal with the Canaanite women, just like they can't deal with the Moabite women, the Moabite people. So he sees his daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, I don't think it's the name. And he took her, went in unto her, and she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bore a son, called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bore a son, called his name Shelah. And he was at Shebez when she bore him. So we see right here, he got 3 unlawful sons that he only supposed to have for this Canaanite woman. But so let's go in. 6. Judah took the wife of his brother. Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. So Tamar, Israelite woman. But is mingled. Judah's son is mingled. 7. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked. See what I mean by understanding? He ain't got no other choice but be wicked. He's a mingled seed. He says, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. See that? So go back to the 3 men with Ruth and Naomi now. Same thing going on. So he says, and Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and he slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up a seed. He go what I was talking about. This is what Naomi is talking about. And most people reading all over. So he says, Judah, he killed Judah. She Tamar and married and died. Most I done killed him with no seed. So it ain't like she can go down, move and go to Minnesota somewhere and start a whole nother life with another man. That ain't how it works. One of them boys got to raise the seed up for his brother. So it says right here, and Judah said unto Onan, see that? His father, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her and raise up a seed. See that? So now go back to Naomi and Ruth. That's what Naomi talking about. Let's go look at it again. So I'm in Ruth. Let me get it. So she says, I'm in chapter 1, verse 10. And they said unto her, surely we will return with thee unto thy people. Then here you go. And Naomi said, turn again, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Are there yet any more sons? See that? In my womb? Because they can't go nowhere else. If they're gonna have some seeds, they got to come out of Naomi's womb to raise up seed for them boys that died. That's what she's talking about. So she says, are there yet any more sons, seeds in my womb that they may be your husband? See that? Like I was saying before, we got laws surrounding us. We can't do any old damn thing that we want to do. So he says, 12, turn again, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. See that? If I should say I have hope, if I should have a husband also tonight and should also bear sons. See that? But her whole focus is that's their destiny. Them two boys dead, but they destiny is through their lineage. We got their brothers. Got to be, if not, they widows. So that take all the focus off of everything, like we were just listening to. That they've imposed on us all over the world, and the African people were saying, you can't come over here imposing all this bullshit on us. So that's what happened to us. And one of the reasons why we catch so much hell, we all out of pocket. So anyway, he says, 13, would ye tarry for them? See that? Here we go. Same thing. Will ye tarry for them until they were grown? Now let's go back. 38. You see on the same thing happen. Genesis 38. So he says, Genesis 38, verse 9. Only knew that the seed would not be his, and it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilled out on the ground that he should not give seed unto his brother. And the thing which he had did displeased the Lord. Wherefore he slew him, he killed him. Then said Judah to Tamar, here we go, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at thy father's house till Shelah, the next boy, the youngest boy, my son, be grown. For he said, lest peradventure he shall die also, and his brethren, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And now here you go. And in the process of time, the daughter of Shual, Judah's wife, died, and Judah was comforted, and he went up to his sheep shears, and Tamar, he and his friends held him out. So we see right here, keep going. 13, and it was told Tamar, saying, behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear sheep, and she put on her widow garment, offer her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in the open place, which is by the way of Timnah. And for she, now here you go, for she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him for a wife. So that's the same thing over here. Says that she says in verse 13, would you tarry for them till they were grown? Same thing. Would ye stay for them having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sake that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Oprah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. So what's going on right here? When you look at this in the right light, it's statutes, it's law, statutes, and judgments surrounding Ruth. Ain't no law, statutes, and judgments surrounding them women. See what she say? 13. Would you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them for having husband? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sake that the hand of the Lord has gone out against me. See that? And the hand of the Lord ain't on them. Law, statutes, and judgments surrounding her and the Israelite. Keep going. Verse 15. This Ruth 1 and 15. And she said, behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her husband, to her people, and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee, or for whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. The people shall be my people, and thy God, my God. So we see right here, long before they concocted this story with JC bringing the Gentiles in, they already had a way in. We see it right here. Most High, Lord Host says they take hold of him with all their heart and soul behind him, which is rare. But if they do, they are part of Israel. That's what we see the spirit that was on Uriah. And David, that's why David caught so much hell. Uriah had that spirit on him, and David misused him. So anyway, 17. Where thou dwellest, check it out. This is a spirit that's on Ruth. Where thou dwellest, will I, where thou diest, will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. When she saw that she was steadfast minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her. So they two went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass when they were come to Bethlehem that all the cities were moved about them. And they said, is this Naomi? And she said unto them, call me not Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty have dealt very bitterly with me. See that? There go Gideon. He dealt bitterly with her. He killed her sons, killed her husband, all because they out of pocket. Right? 21. I went out full, and the Lord have brought me home again empty. Why then call ye me Naomi, seeing the Lord have testified against me, and the Almighty have afflicted me? So Naomi returned, and Ruth and Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of the Moab, and they came to the Bethlehem in the beginning of the barley harvest. Okay, I'm gonna read one more chapter 2. So it says, and Ruth gleaned in the field of Boaz, and Naomi had a kinsman of her husband, a mighty man of wealth, of family of Elamite, and the name was Boaz. So this is Naomi's husband, kinfolks, kinsman redeemer. So it says, and Ruth the Moabite said unto Naomi, let me now go to the field and glean ears of corn after him, in whose sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, go, my daughter. And she went and came and gleaned in the fields after the reapers, and her hap was to light on the part of the field belonging unto Boaz, who was the kinsman, who was kindred of Elamite. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said unto the reapers, the Lord be with you. And they answered him, the Lord bless thee. Then said Boaz unto her servants that were set over the reapers, whose damsel is this? And the servants that were set over the reapers answered and said, it is the Moabitess damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab. And he said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and have continued even more, even from morning until now, that she tarried a little in the house. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, hear thou not, my daughter, Go not to glean in another field, neither go from thence, but abide here, fast by my maidens. Let thine eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go thou after them. Have I not charged the young men that they should not touch thee? And when thou art atheist authors, go unto the vessels and drink of that which is the young men have drawn. Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground and said unto him, why have I found grace in thine eyes, that thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger? And Boaz answered and said unto her, it hath fully been shown me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thy husband, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother in the land of thy nativity, and are come unto the people which thou knowest not henceforth. So that's the same spirit Uriah had. So then the Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust. Then she said, let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for that thou hast comforted me, and for thou hast spoken friendly unto thy handmaiden. Though I be not like unto one of thine handmaidens. And Boaz said unto her, okay, okay. And Boaz said unto her, at mealtime come thou hither, and eat of the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, and she did eat, and was sufficed, and left. And when she was risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and reproach her not, and let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her, and leave them that she may glean them, and rebuke her not. So she gleaned in the fields until evening, and beat out that she had gleaned, and it was about an ephod of water. And she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and she brought forth and gave to her that she had reserved after she was sufficed. And her mother-in-law said unto her, where hast thou gleaned today? And where wrought thou? Blessed be that be Blessed be he that did take the knowledge of thee. And she showed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought, and said, the man's name whom I wrought today is Boaz. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, blessed be he of the Lord, who have not left out his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, the man is near kin in us, one of our next kinsmen. And Ruth the Moabitess said, he said unto me also, thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have ended all my harvest. And Naomi said unto Ruth, her daughter-in-law, is it good, my daughter, that thou go out with his maidens, that they meet thee not in any other field? So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean unto the end of the barley harvest and of the wheat harvest, and to dwell with her mother-in-law. So that was I read Ruth chapters 1 and 2. I'll read the other 2 chapters next week. Any comments, questions?
Shalom. This story is very interesting with Ruth and the disobedience and how it's coming to play, to see how Ruth is trying to get back thus far. And I'm gonna read on, but I'll be here for the rest of it, trying to get back when she went back, when she heard of the the harvest being put out, that she wanted to go back. She even said, "Don't call me Naomi no more."
Right.
Yeah, because she had been treated bitterly for what she had done. Shalom.
Right. Like their names mean a lot. Their names, those parents name those kids according to events that happen in their life, blessings that happen in their life. So that's another reason why she said, "Don't call me Naomi," because the name she got, Naomi, was according to a blessing. She said, "I ain't got no blessing, so don't call me that. The most high against me." Yeah. Okay.
Shalom. Because Naomi married into the Moab people,
Moabites.
Moabites people. Okay. Um, Also, when you spoke on Tamar and them, that was um, within itself how the woman wanted to marry one of the children that he promised, the sons, and as the sons passed away, and being that she knew that he was not going to let her marry his youngest son, she tricked him into being with her so she can bear a child. So that was something else.
Right.
Awesome.
You can see the Lord of hosts in there because remember that Boaz is a kinsman redeemer. Ruth, Boaz is kin to those two boys, to Ruth, to Ruth's husband. So
To Naomi's husband, right? Was he kin to Naomi's husband or Ruth's husband?
Boaz is kin
Boaz.
to Naomi's husband, but
Right.
he's a
Okay.
kinsman redeemer to because he's kin to her husband, he's a kinsman redeemer to his sons.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right. So neither one of them boys had no children. So he's a kinsman. So he has to take up seed. Somebody got to take up seed. Even go back to Tamar, Israelite woman, right? So she knew. So not only do you had those Shelah, the other boy he pulled out and spilled on the ground, and Most High killed him. All was left was Shelah. But Judah is a kinsman redeemer too. He can take up a seed. It's the same.
Okay.
That's all the same lineage. So she went when she seen that he wouldn't give him the younger boy. She went and played the harlot and got the seed from him. She got it from Judah, the daddy. That's where all the boys coming from him. So Judah is a kinsman redeemer too, just like Boaz. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's why she went to because if you go back, with those boys that was born is the lineage of Judah that Tamar had. So them righteous seeds. Because she was an Israelite woman and he's an Israelite man, Judah. Is this something?
Yes, sir. And she knew that she had to um, produce the children, so she was not going to just be a widow. She was going to
Right,
have some children.
right. And then when you understand that the Most High, the Lord of hosts, is the one he calls in people that women to be barren and not be barren. So when Judah went into her, he didn't have to make her have no seed, but he gave her seed when he went in her. So that was ordained. Okay. Okay. So everybody good?
Yes,
Shalom.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, and I'll see everybody tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock for our non-Messianic conversation. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom.
Okay. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.